All right, so these are quadratic equations that are they're equations that are quadratic in form. They don't look like a quadratic equation to begin with, but by doing a substitution, we can transform them into quadratic equations. Let's do one more of these problems because they're just a whole slew of equations that can be transformed. 1 to the negative 1 power equals x minus 1 to the negative 2 power. All right, once again, it certainly doesn't look like for the fact that we notice that here we have x minus 1 to the minus 1 power. Here we have x minus 1 to the minus 2 power. So by doing a substitution, we may be able to transform it into a quadratic equation. Maybe we'll use w again. Let w be equal to x minus 1 to the negative 1 power. Now let's square the w. What is w squared? It's x minus 1 to the negative 1 squared. Base to a power, we multiply the powers, and so we'll have our base x minus 1 to the minus that we do have the ingredients for a substitution. This will turn out to be w squared, this will turn out to be w, and so we're going to have a quadratic equation in w. 3, and we don't even need to worry about the negative x. Let's make it in standard form by putting everything on the right-hand side. W squared will add a 2w, will add a negative 3 to sort of jump at us in this case, right? So we'll have a plus and a minus. The difference of the products of the factors of 3 need to be 2, so those will be 3 and 1. So we'll have w plus 3 and w minus 1 equals 0 of plus 2w. So we'll set each of these factors This tells us that w equals a negative 3. This one says w equals 1. But once again, remember that we're not solving for w. The equation that we needed to solve was this one. 3 minus 2 times x minus 1 to the minus 1 power equals x minus 1 to the minus 2 power. We need to solve for x. But the x minus 1 to the minus 1 power is nothing but 1 over x minus 1. So we can use this and solve, in this case, for x. If w equals a negative 3, using that equals 1 over x minus 1, and now we've got a little proportion here. We can cross multiply and say minus 3 times x minus 1 times 1 is 1, and so we have a little linear equation to solve. Minus 3x plus 3 equals 1. Well, minus 3x equals a negative 2 by taking the 3 over to the other side, and so we have x equals, which is the same thing as 2/3, right? All right, for the other solution, when w was equal to 1, we'll do the same. Equals 1 over x minus 1. Let's cross multiply. 1 times x minus 1 equals 1 times 1. X minus 1 equals 1. The solution is two solutions here. We didn't square any sides, so we don't have any danger of having solutions that are not solutions of the original problem. In the original equation, we have x and x minus 1 to the negative 2 power. Notice that what this is a minus 2 over x plus 1, and on the right-hand side 1 over x minus 1, the quantity squared. So one thing we do have to worry about is the domain of this particular equation, but the only, and by the way, that 1, right? So the domain in this case is we don't want 0 in the denominator, so we don't want x to be equal to 1, and the same thing for this term right here. But the solutions that we got equals 2/3 or x equals 2. So by using then a substitution for the x minus 1, we're able to transform this equation into a quadratic equation, use with the solutions to this equation.